So, has the current pope always known he was going to be the last one before the world ends? Because the Vatican archives revealed a book that has successfully predicted every pope for the last 900 years, and it also tells us exactly when the world will end too. The Prophecy of the Popes was found in the Vatican archives in 1590 by Benedictine monk Arnold Villon, which contains the prophetic texts of St. Malachi of Armagh, a 12th century archbishop from Ireland, written during his time in 1139. It contains the Pope List, a series of 111 short cryptic phrases written in Latin that characterize every pope that came to be, starting with Celestine II in 1143, all the way up to our current Pope Francis, along with a 112th entry that describes the end of the world and approximately when it'll happen. Story goes, in 1139, St. Malachi went on a pilgrimage from Ireland to Rome to see the Pope, when he claims to have been struck by a revelation from God and fell into a trance all night while speaking Latin phrases. He reported his visions to Pope Innocent II, but the document remained unknown in the Vatican archives until its discovery in 1590, a whole 450 years later. But now, the real disturbing part is this list only had 111 Pope predictions, with 112th passage that described the Pope during the end of times. Pope Francis is number 112. After which, the list ends with, in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people. The end. Judgment Day and the fall of Rome, perfectly lined up with Pope Francis. If that wasn't enough, inside St. Paul's Basilica in Rome, there's a series of portraits of all popes that line the walls from the first, St. Peter, to Francis. These portraits wind their way around the entire cathedral with designated plaques left behind for every future pope to be put on. And there's only one spot left after Francis, which, according to a centuries-old local legend, once that last spot is filled, the end of times will be upon us. Now I hear what you're saying. If there's one spot after Francis, doesn't that mean there's still one more pope left and this prediction is slightly off? Turns out there might be a lost prophecy in the pope list that got forgotten in time and not many people know about. Now, to be fair, these 112 predictions are pretty vague, and some of them are very loosely connected to their related popes. For example, the late Pope John Paul II was called De Labora Solis, which means the sun's labor through eclipse. JP2 was both born on a total eclipse, and his funeral was also held on a solar eclipse. The one about Pope Urban VIII was Lilium et Rosa, the lily and the rose. He was a native of Florence, and the arms of Florence feature a fleur-de-lis. Peregrinus Apostolicus designates Pius V, meaning pilgrim pope, which appears to be verified by his many journeys to new lands. Before him, no pope had left Italy for centuries. Pope Clement XIV was Urus Elox, meaning the swift bear, who had a racing bear as his family symbol. The other late Pope Benedict XVI, the prophecy says of him, Gloria Olivae, the glory of the olive. The order of Saint Benedict is also known as the Olivitans. Pretty loosely connected if you ask me, and it could very well be a case of backwards rationalization happening here, forcing the phrase to fit the Pope by any means necessary. Or maybe the cardinals in charge of choosing the Pope are somewhat influenced by this Pope list and end up gravitating towards someone that will fulfill the cryptic words. But that still wouldn't explain the first couple dozen popes that matched, as this list was written in 1139 but wasn't made known until 1590, 450 years later, during which time 40 popes reigned, and these predictions match pretty accurately to each of them. The very first phrase of the list, ex cathedra Tiberis, from the castle of the Tiber. The first pope in the list was born in the castle town of Tifernum, similar to Tiber. Second phrase, inimicus expulfus, the hunted enemy, refers to Pope Lucius II, who was driven out of Rome by the Senate. Third phrase, ex magnitudine Monto, from Monte Magno, refers to Eugene III, and Monte Magno was literally his last name. Even if the predictions are loosely connected or backwards rationalized, getting 40 in a row correct is an impressive statistical anomaly if they really are just coincidences, let alone the 112 of the full list. But some religious scholars claim it was actually originally written in the 1500s, not by St. Malachi or even the guy who found the list, but rather by a certain someone named Michel de Nostradamus, aka Nostradamus, which, if you haven't heard, was a French astrologer who's been largely attributed to predicting many world events in his book Les Prophéties from 1555, who happened to be alive just a few years before the Pope list was found and is sure no stranger to prophecies that have come true. On record, the Catholic Church neither publicly confirms nor denies this prophecy of the popes, and they're pretty quick to discredit anything they don't like they did with the Da Vinci Code. And they even just recently updated their guidelines on the supernatural in May 2024, affirming that only a pope can formally deem something to be supernatural, along with a whole bunch of other criteria on its formal definition and how to deal with it, almost like they're preparing for something to happen. Now, what about that lost prophecy? Oral tradition claim rumors of an additional phrase on this list right before the apocalypse. Caput Nigrum, which relax is Latin for black leader. The Black Pope is a term used to refer to the superior general of the Society of Jesus, the head of the Jesuit order. Pope Francis happens to be the first Jesuit pope in history. Is he the Black Pope that comes right before Peter the Roman, as per the prophecy? But the big question here, when is this supposed apocalypse supposed to start? In the list, the pope that marks the middle of the prophecy is Pope Sixtus V in 1585, exactly 442 years after the first pope in the prophecy came to be in 1143. According to it, if this really is the middle, that would make another 442 years after Pope Sixtus until the final pope is revealed and the end of the world is upon us. 442 years after 1585 is 2027, the beginning of the end. Nice. And this year, 2027, is a hot one, with many end of times rumors surrounding it. It's the next 2012. You guys remember Javier, aka Unico Sobreviviente, who claims to be stuck in an alternate dimension with no humans around? Kinda looks like post-rapture to me, and he happens to be stuck in the year 2027. This guy, Daryl Anka, an international medium who claims to have made 4-dimensional contact with an extraterrestrial entity called Bashar, says that Bashar told him we will make direct contact with alien UFOs in 2027, back in 1998. Oh, but he's just a crazy schizophrenic cult leader. Don't listen to him, right? In that case, here's ex-CIA officer John Ramirez claiming to have trusted official sources that state alien contact will be made public in that exact same year.
And I would say I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity that I can't reveal. So I think I would say that people in the government are aware of something happening and that there's limited time, a few more years to prepare the people, and that's what's ramping up.
Are these the aliens that start our predicted demise? More recently, this leaked document from an ex-OpenAI employee, ChatGPT, says that we will achieve AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, which is basically the point of no return, when AI learns to teach itself faster than we are able to teach it, or even ourselves, also known as a singularity, by 2027. If the aliens don't get us, maybe AI will. Watch out, world, we've got another 2012 to survive. Let's see how this one turns out.